It has not been it has not been an uneventful morning, to say the least, especially if your name happens to be Alex Jones. It is a crazy, crazy, crazy day, because it does appear, ultimately appear, that Silicon Valley is 100% for trying to get rid of Alex Jones. In fact, according to this article here, if I could actually get my thing to work properly, let's get this up there. All right. So according to this article, YouTube has appeared to take down the Alex Jones channel, saying it's taking it down. The move against the conspiracy-mongering InfoWars horse channel was first flagged by CNN's Oliver Darcy, saying here it appears that YouTube has removed Alex Jones' channel for violating its guidelines. Indeed, if you go to the channel page, you get that there's a termination. Let's take a look, quick look here. Yep, this is it. This is Alex Jones's channel. And you can see that it's been gone for violating YouTube's community guidelines. I cannot stress how much I don't agree with this. I'm a person who clearly doesn't agree with Alex Jones on just about anything across the board. But that being said, I still very much believe that this guy has a right to free speech. I have and I understand, look, I have to just preface this by saying, I understand that this is not a governmental issue, that this is not the government coming and stifling his free speech. But we have heard many talks recently from people in Congress about maybe whether or not the internet in some aspects should become more regulated, that social media outlets like Twitter and Facebook should become and regulated like public utilities as a way to keep things like this from happening. Because Alex Jones, as bad as he is, as crazy as he is, this is only going to make matters even worse. And I'm not even remotely kidding on that one. Now, it does say here from Jones himself that they're being censored, saying we've been banned completely on Facebook, Apple, and Spotify. What conservative news outlets will be next? The one platform they can't ban and will always have our live streams is Infowars.com/show. And the truth of the matter is that's accurate. Right, running him off of Facebook, running him off of Twitter, running him off, well, he's still on Twitter, but running him off of Spotify and Apple. All this is going to do is just drive more people to Infowars.com. It's just going to drive more people to buy his male vitality soy supplements. That's all it's going to do. Because when you start pushing somebody like Alex Jones and you start forcing them to go further and further underground to an extent, you find out, that they become way more unhinged. But Paul Joseph Watson here did comment on this morning as well. He says Spotify is now completely banned Infowars 2, Apple, Facebook, and Spotify, all within 12 hours of each other. This isn't enforcement of terms of service. It's coordinated big tech censorship. This is real election meddling. Now, I don't agree with that last bit there, but I do believe that this is a coordinated effort, that this is a coordinated attack against Alex Jones by people in the media that, or in Silicon Valley, not the media, in Silicon Valley that are trying to very much keep themselves from getting in trouble. And here's a weird theory for you. All right. What's going on in the UK right now with that new privacy, that new law? I forget what it's called. Not even that, not the UK, like memes are a bad thing. And that's not what I'm referring to. Sorry. It's the, FOSTA here in the United States. FOSTA. I'm wondering if that has anything to do with this. That would be the Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act. Now you might be thinking to yourself, how are the two things even remotely related? Well, in regards to InfoWars and sex trafficking, not at all. But what it boils down to here is the fact that the government that Alex Jones is claiming to be all for promoting, right, under this current administration, who the guy in charge did in fact sign this in to law. Basically what it does is it says that websites are pretty much responsible for what content is on there, right? The Internet Safe Harbor Act that was put in place under Clinton, that's basically kind of done away by with this. So they say that it's meant to be for like sex trafficking or things along those lines, but it's kind of broad in its concept, and it could be used as a way to argue that what Alex Jones pushes, what Alex Jones says, is actually going to get people to act on his behalf, given some of the more incendiary things he has said recently. Very like the whole thing with calling out Robert Mueller and saying, like, you know, they're gonna at high noon pew 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 each other, right? Even though he said politically, he was sure to add in politically there. There's definitely some stuff, right? And I talked about this the other day too, where you had the woman who was so convinced by Alex Jones and his claims that Sandy Hook was a false flag, that the child crisis actors and nobody really died, that the people who lost their son, a couple who lost their son, this woman tormented them repeatedly for a long period of time, tormented them. All because she learned this from Alex Jones, to the point of where a judge in Florida, when they finally were able to, get this thing in front of a judge, told her, you cannot read, listen to, or watch, or ingest anything from InfoWars. That is why. And so I'm wondering if that's kind of a preemptive strike. Now, I'm not saying I agree with it. I don't think you should be held responsible for what somebody does who listens to you. I don't think that's ever a good thing to do. That's never a good thing to promote. But at the same time, you can almost, looking at it from this perspective, see why they did it. I don't know how to counter it though. But I do want to know more about it. And ultimately, Bloomberg here on Twitter did talk about the situation involving Facebook, and then has Facebook's particular statement. Now it says here, Facebook unpublishes these pages for repeated violations of community standards and accumulating too many strikes. These pages were Alex Jones Channel, Alex Jones, InfoWars, and InfoWars Nightly News. And the full statement here says, so what happened with InfoWars? They were up on Friday and now they're down. Saying, as a result of reports we received last week, we removed 4 videos on Facebook pages for violating our hate speech and bullying policies. These pages were the Alex Jones Channel, the Alex Jones page, InfoWars page, and the InfoWars Nightly News page. In addition, one of the admins of these pages, Alex Jones, was placed in a 30-day block for his role in posting violating content to these pages. Since then, more content from the same pages has been reported to us. Upon review, we've taken it down for glorifying violence, which violates our graphic violence policy, using dehumanizing language to describe people who are transgender, Muslims, and immigrants, which violates our hate speech policies. Our four of these pages have been unpublished for repeated violations of community standards and accumulating too many strikes. While much of the discussion around InfoWars has been related to false news, this is a serious issue that we are working to address by demoting links marked wrong by fact checkers and suggesting additional content. None of the violations that spurred today's removals were related to this. So what that tells me essentially is that they got a lot of stuff reported to them, and they were looking for any reason to clamp down. Right now, we know how bad Facebook gets. People like Cult of Dusty, who is a very left-leaning YouTube skeptic, has been called out for insulting Islam. Has been suspended for insulting Islam. Lauren Southern who's very far-right, anti-Islam. She's been called out for insulting Islam. She's been suspended for many times. I don't even know if she's still on Facebook right now as it is. So we know that when it comes to insulting Islam, it's non-political. They will boot you. All right. We also know that there's a guy in California, and I reported on this a while back, who is being sued by the state of California for harassment, or being charged with harassment, because he left some nasty comments, nothing of which would be considered hate speech, on a mosque's Facebook fan page. So what we're seeing right now is Facebook is rapidly becoming real life. And even today, I saw a headline that was saying that Facebook is now asking banks for user data in order to better better serve users' interests in regards to ads, I think. And that to me is like, whoa, that's going a bit far, Zuck. I understand you lost $120 billion in a day, but at the same time, let's not do that. Right? Let's not do that, shall we? Let's not do that at all. So let's make sure that in regards to this, what's happening with Facebook right now, that we just be very careful. We don't want Facebook getting too powerful. We don't want these companies getting too powerful. And ultimately, that's kind of what it feels like here. That does feel like what they're doing right here is they are, in fact, pushing people they don't like off of their platform. And now I am a left-leaning individual. I've been very open about that. I get into spats all the time with people on Twitter and here on YouTube and stuff about it. I don't want Alex Jones removed. And I'll give you guys the exact reason why I don't. And it's definitely a retread of what I said before, but I want to reiterate why it's important. Having Alex Jones removed, if, let's say, for example, his hosting site decides to take him out, right, which could happen. We saw this with the Daily Stormer. Okay. Then they go underground, because that's the next place they would go. And if Alex Jones goes underground, if he goes into the deep web, if he's not in a position where he can, in fact, be called out and fact-checked and debunked time and time and time again, which he needs to be 98% of the time, then what's going to happen with that is no one is going to be there to hold his feet to the fire. He'll just be able to say and do whatever he wants, and he'll be placating to a crowd of people that are truly anonymous, truly hidden, who will be able to pay and fund him with monies earned through cryptocurrency or through unnamed sources, and then that will keep him going and keep him spreading their message. And it's one of the things we saw months ago, especially on this side of YouTube, in regards to internet blood sports and the people that was attracting, and the people that were paying good money to have that message spread. We're going to see something like that, but we're going to see it in a very, very, very nondescript place that only a few people know how to get to, and only really seems to cater to a very, very wild but vocal group that is in that area. And I don't want to think what's going to happen as a result of that. So YouTube, seriously, for the honest to God here, for the betterment of everybody, your best bet is to bring Alex Jones back and let people keep an eye on him. Let people keep debunking him. Pulling him down, getting rid of all this stuff ultimately serves no one. It doesn't. And look, here's the thing. Aside from my thoughts on the whole going underground thing, on the subject of just free speech and the First Amendment, I understand where this stands in that regard, but there are people out there who I vehemently disagree with all the time on a lot of issues. And I don't ask that they be pulled down. I don't ask that they have their stuff removed. This is a slippery slope that none of us want to go down. Because, yeah, now you're coming for Alex Jones, which to many people out there on the left, sadly, they're cheering. Getting rid of this guy is going to be a good thing. It's not. It's not. Because this isn't like you cut the head off the snake and the body dies. This is like Hydra, right? You cut off one head, it gets replaced by two more, so on and so forth. All it's going to do is going to turn him into a martyr, for one, which no one wants. And two, it's going to end up making this guy more powerful than he could ever possibly be. And people are going to want to imitate that as a way to capitalize on it. So this is a bad move. I have no problem calling that out. YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple, you're all idiots. And the final seal of all this will be undone when Alex Jones gets booted off of Twitter, which at this point is just an inevitability. So hey, if you run Gab, you may be finding yourself with a brand new host of people. Good luck with that.